Another 3. I would love to see the participants at a 5, but I'm not getting any 5 from the participants. Okay, I just saw someone with a 2. I haven't seen any participant with a 5, so I feel like all the weeks of preparation that we put in and not to get any 5 is just a little bit alarming, but I do hope you are excited about today and you are just ready to put your best foot forward. So without further ado, I would like to invite Sheena Raikundalia, the country director of UK Kenya Tech Hub. Sheena has over 16 years of experience in legal, financial services, and impact investment in Europe, Africa. And I would like to invite Sheena to share her keynote and a few words of encouragement to our participants and our entrepreneurs for today. Sheena, over to you.
Thank you so much. And first of all, I just want to apologize. I'm on my phone and on a coffee shop, so if you can't hear me, then please just, yeah, okay, great. So I'm really, really excited to be here. I think one of the things that needs to be said about me is I love entrepreneurship. I believe that entrepreneurs, that means you guys, are the people who are going to solve Africa's challenges and hopefully make lots of money while doing it. So I think that's my aim. You know, let's get entrepreneurs. Let's, you know, who are solving these amazing challenges, creating jobs and making money as they're doing it. So that's my kind of key theme. So you might be thinking, well, and I'll tell you a bit about myself, because I think that will explain why, you know, I feel this way. But I always start by saying that at the moment, of course, I'm the director for UK Kenya Tech Hub. So I work with the British government here in Kenya. And my job as the director is, again, to help the entrepreneurial ecosystem. We believe, you know, what can we do to help entrepreneurs? And most of our projects are around that ecosystem support. And I'll talk about that in a little bit more detail. Now, normally when I say, oh, tech director, all of a sudden, I think half the people might drop off and say, oh, I'm not tech. But actually, I think the definition of tech has been too narrow. So I'll tell you my definition of tech. And I believe that tech falls into 3 buckets. And first is that the first bucket is emerging tech, you know, your cool tech, your sexy tech. That's your AI, blockchain, big data, drones. And it's amazing. And it's doing a lot, as we've seen in COVID. But it's only 1% or 1 to 3% of entrepreneurs in Africa. So super exciting, high impact, but, you know, tiny. So the second bit, I think, of tech, which is super exciting, is tech as an enabler, where tech can be used to get, whether it's, you know, health services, fintech, healthcare, fintech, clean energy, to the people that need it the most. And I think that, and that doesn't have to be a cool tech innovation, but it could be a business model like pay as you go, etc. And the third bit of tech, which I think applies to everyone, is what I like to call operational tech. How can tech be used to make your business, your NGO, your fund, or whatever, your government organization more effective? How can you use it to increase revenues? How can you decrease costs? How can you increase efficiency? Could be something simple as Facebook or Twitter marketing, etc. So those are my 3 buckets. And if you look at those 3 buckets, I think it means everything that we do is either tech or tech enabled. So that's my kind of tech caveat, because I'm a terrible techie. I can't even code. I fail that. So there we go. And this is going to be a theme of my kind of keynote, which is lots of different things, you know, can be done. So at the moment, so when I started my career, I was a lawyer in London for 10 years. And my aim was, I wanted to be a lawyer. I wanted to, you know, become partner, etc. And then when I moved back to Kenya, so moved back home, I decided to be an entrepreneur. And, you know, I came in with all this passion. I'm solving this problem. It was in tech, and I thought this is definitely going to work. And actually, I failed. And it was really, really difficult at that time, failing as an entrepreneur. I've never failed at anything. And, you know, and yet when I think back, my time as an entrepreneur, I think, or my failure, as people call it, as an entrepreneur, I learned more in that than I have in my entire career as a lawyer and my MBA combined. So never think of it as a failure is step one. Like the journey of entrepreneurship is ups and downs, and it's very lonely. So all of you entrepreneurs here in the room, like, well done, and keep going. I think nobody realizes it. I think it's in the media and in the world. It's, you know, it's cool to be an entrepreneur, but we know the truth. It's not. It's actually really, really difficult. It takes a lot of grit and a lot of patience. And you know, we think that our first startup will be the one that's successful. It's not necessarily the case. If you look around the world, lots and lots of startups have failed and then they've been successful. And that's the other thing. You're never too young or too old, by the way, to be an entrepreneur. You know, so don't, you know, age is not a barrier. The experience, identifying the right problems, etc., that is sort of more important. So what I then realized in my journey as an entrepreneur, and this is what we're trying to do at the UK Kenya Tech Hub. So here in Kenya, although we're part of a larger network of hubs, although I'm in Kenya, we have South Africa, we have Nigeria in Africa, but then we have Indonesia, Brazil, and Israel. But and what I'm trying to say about this journey for entrepreneurship and the support is, I think, applies to everyone. So what are the challenges that we feel as entrepreneurs? So I think for me, first, of course, everybody always asks, when I ask that question and we put our hands up and everyone says money, capital, access to capital is a big, big challenge, right? And this is why events like this are super important, because I think it's extremely important for investors and entrepreneurs to get together, to learn from each other, to understand. Now, in Kenya, especially, I think we have lots of amazing entrepreneurs. And what we're now seeing, and one of the things that we're trying to do, is start doing a concept called angel investing, which is how do we get, you know, seed funding from your angels. So these are people who could be friends, they could be families, it could just be people who are interested in making a little bit of return. They know the money, you know, they'll invest the money, but it might not come back, or they might get returns. So it's not your life savings you're investing as an angel. And what that angel capital does is help you kind of kickstart that business idea of yours. The thing is, most people look at angel investing and think, okay, yes, I'm going to get some money. However, that's not the only thing about angel investing. Actually, your angels are probably better off at opening doors, being mentors, and guiding you in your journey. So I think angel investment is a really good start for capital. Capital is not just that. You can obviously get grant funding. So I think grant funding has its place, but eventually you need to move towards getting a sustainable business, and we'll move to that next. There's bank, there's debt, there's mezzanine. So there's all this kind of capital that's out there. And as an entrepreneur, I think it's really, really important to educate yourself on what capital is out there, because not all capital is good capital. You might not be, you know, you should not be trying to pitch for every single grant document or every single VC or whatever. Pick capital that is right for you. And that's a journey you have to figure out, and it's quite a painful one. The second thing everybody looks for is talent. You need good people. And therein lies the problem. How do you get good people if you can't even afford to pay for them? And so again, here we have to start thinking about being creative. Co-founders are a good way. Another way is, you know, again, giving people sort of revenue shares, profit shares, motivating people, being flexible, saying, you know, work for 3 days, give me this input, you know, stop focusing on input and focus on output to get that talent that you really need. And I think we're going to start having to move on sort of something called talent as a service, because I think, you know, that could be the future to solving this kind of talent problem. Now, what's the third problem you feel as an entrepreneur? And I feel like this is very underrated. We're so busy talking about capital and talent, we forget this one. But markets. See, at this point, we're all looking for capital, and I understand it's really, really important. But do you know who your biggest capital is? It's your customer. It's revenues. So one of the big things that you need to figure out now as an entrepreneur, especially in this day and age where capital is running dry, the money that's coming to Africa, the money that's coming in the world, it's called a capital crunch. We don't have that much money out there anymore. But what we can do is we can have markets. We can have paying customers, create value for your customers, create products and services that they want to pay for, and that's your capital. And you can use that. And maybe that scale might not be as fast, but once you do that and figure out your unit costs and figure out how to be profitable and grow, I think that's when your investors will also come running. But figure out that problem you're solving, figure out that people are willing to pay for it, and then focus on that. And then you can grow across Kenya, across Africa, across, you know, whatever you want. But that market piece is super, super important. And I think sometimes in the rush for capital, we forget that. Creating products and services that people want to buy. The fourth challenge, I think, and this is one, you know, that we can't really do much about, but it's a really important one, which is regulation, enabling environment. Now, I know there's not a lot of stuff that we can do, and that's why we have organizations like ourselves and others, you know, who are saying, let's try and help to create an enabling environment. And I know right now everyone's talking about tax, but there's lots of different ways in which an enabling environment can help, whether to help you, you know, access the market, give you, you know, certain incentives, or even whether it's certifications, etc. So there's a lot that can be done here. And you might be thinking, well, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm running my business, how do I get involved? Well, a lot of this legislation actually has public participation. Make your views heard, make your pain points heard. I know sometimes it can feel like, why do I just keep having to say the same thing? Nothing's going to change. But change starts from you. If you're very, very clear about this is the pain point affecting your business, making that noise about it, eventually we'll have to try and make it. Not everything will work, to be honest. So you have to have a very thick skin. But creating an enabling environment, that's something the government's supposed to do. But I think at the end of the day, they won't know what to do. You know it better because you're the entrepreneur. You're at the heart of your problem. And finally, the most important one, I feel, and one that I feel like this event such as this are doing super well in doing, is networks. Networks are so important. And, everyone talks about networks. And at first I was like, oh, all right, another network. What does that mean? But the reality is there's what's called information asymmetry, which means sometimes I know something and I think everybody knows it, but they don't. So it's as simple as sharing what we know so that other people around us can understand, and we can then learn something that somebody might not have learned. So it's something very simple, and it's something that we take for granted. And I think this is something that we can be super intentional about. And one of the things I tell you about networks is, if you go into your networking opportunity saying, let me see what I can get from that person, it's going to fail. Don't go into networks with a very short-term mentality. If you go into it with kind of long-term, this is what I want to do in the long term. This is the kind of people I want to be around. This is the kind of content. And how do you get into those networks? By being helpful. So don't start your networking with, how can this person help me? Start it with, well, how can I help them? And weirdly, I've done this for over 15 years. And I'll tell you something. In the end, I've actually got more out of my network than I've ever given in. And I never went with the intention of giving. I always went in saying, okay, how can I help? And eventually it's led to whether, an intro to grant financing, intro to like an investor, intro to a job opportunity, intro to talent. But the point remains, I never went into things saying, what can I get out of it? I went into things saying, how can I help? And all of a sudden things came my way. And so I truly believe the role of network and creating your network is a long-term process. And sometimes if you want to find out somebody, and be like, well, I really want to get to this person. So social media, LinkedIn, etc., is a good way. But again, sending somebody a message saying, oh, hi, can you help me with this? That's, people get thousands of messages like that. How do you build your network? You follow that person, you like their articles or their comments, you take interest in what they're doing, be helpful to them so that when it's time for them, when you finally reach out to them, they have a vague idea of who you are. Look, people are vague. Everybody sees who likes their posts and who likes their comments. Your name will stick in their head. So all of a sudden, you're not some random person asking for help, but you've kind of built that relationship to get your network. So I think those are my kind of quick 5 sort of advice to sort of entrepreneurs for the key challenges. But I think what you guys, I'll end because I don't want to sort of just go on, and I talk very, very fast. So I think people would have done this in 20 minutes. I can do it in 10. There we go. But I hope it was clear. But all I'm going to say is, as entrepreneurs, you're doing amazing work. I think as organizations, who are, doing things like emerging leaders and matching services, these are really, really important things. And, super excited to have them in our ecosystem and carry them on. From my part, I wish you guys all the best. Sometimes pitching, can be really, really difficult. It's, and to be honest, data has shown it's actually harder for female entrepreneurs who tend to undersell themselves, because they're trying to be realistic. It's like that job application where if you see a job application and a woman feels like she doesn't meet 5% of those requirements, she won't apply. A man will see a job application and see 50% and say, oh, I'll apply. So I think sometimes it is that mindset and confidence, but the reality is men or female, pitching is difficult. Pitching is not something that we are, it feels like bragging. It feels like showing off, and you feel like, your work should speak for yourself, and it does, but it is a key skill. So sell yourself, sell your story, sell your product, sell your service, and be patient. I think that's, and keep going. So thank you for having me speak here. I hope I was able to share at least 1 or 2 things that will stick, but best of luck, everyone.
Thank you so much, Sheena, for taking the time to share with us your nuggets of wisdom. I do feel that a lot of what you said really resonated in terms of how I've been able to grow a little bit about my career and also be able to, again, sort of do the things I love to do, networks, just really focusing on how to build key partnerships that then ideally in turn provide me with the necessary opportunities that I need to thrive. So at its inception, the matching service received an overwhelming 70 plus applications from entrepreneurs across Africa. And following a rigorous process, only 10 enterprises with incredible potential and passion were selected. So in a few minutes, I will be presenting the 10 that were selected. But before that, I would like to introduce to you our judges for today. So the way the matching day is going to run is we will have 5 minutes that will go to the entrepreneur to pitch a little bit about what they're doing. And then we'll have 5 minutes for comments or maybe questions from the judges. So to introduce our judges, for today we have Caroline Chirabo, who is the founder of, I'm going to say it the way a Ugandan would say it, Mchala Ventures.
Actually, Mchala Ventures.
Oh, thank you, Caroline, for stepping in. Mchala Ventures, which is a specialized gender strategy and advisory firm. Caroline is an investment expert based in East Africa and has over 15 years of experience working in investment and the SME support sector, where she has championed increased economic inclusion for women entrepreneurs that saw her work support over 250 women-led SMEs. Thank you, Caroline, for taking the time to join us today. We look forward to your insights and your invaluable guidance with the entrepreneurs that will pitch today. Next on the roster for judges, we have Agnes Suma, who is the Manager of Innovation and Commercialization at Kenya National Innovation Agency. Agnes is passionate about commercialization, working closely with innovators and startups within the ecosystem. She is a diligent and resourceful research and innovation grants management specialist with over 10 years of multifaceted experience with well-established international institutions. She is highly regarded as a strategic thinker and is able to design and implement research and innovation programs. And I think just like Sheena mentioned in her keynote, Agnes as well is an accomplished accomplished in networking and creating valuable partnerships. So a big thank you to our two judges that will be with us today, and we look forward to diving into our enterprises. As I said, you have 5 minutes to pitch, and after which the judges will give you 5 minutes of feedback. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce the enterprises that were selected to go through the matching development service, where they underwent 6 weeks of different trainings, received valuable insights from expert trainers, and received coaching and mentorship from reputable coaches. So without further ado, the enterprises. We'll start off with Selian, who is the founder of Murua Girl Child Education. Selian, over to you.
Thank you, Shirley. Good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Selian Partoip. I'm the founder and executive director, Murua Girls. Today, I'm here to present to you a product called Glam Sanitary Pads that we hope to help end period poverty among women and girls in Narok County. Narok County has a population of 1.2 million people, 50 of which are adolescents and women of menstruation age. 34% of the county's population live in absolute poverty. And this means these households are not able to prioritize sanitary products for the women and girls. What happens is that they resort to using unhygienic rags and other methods that increase the risk of reproductive tract infections, thus increasing period poverty and period shame. On the other hand, 90% of all menstrual products are made of single-use, non-biodegradable materials. This is 2.5 million tons of menstrual waste that ends up in our oceans. The problem we are solving today is limited access to sanitary products and menstrual hygiene management information to girls and women, which lead to period stigma and period shame. And our solution is to provide washable sanitary pads to girls and women from low-income households across Narok County so that they stay clean and feel comfortable during their periods. Our product has six towels and 2 waterproof buckets, 2 underpants, and a waterproof bag to place a soil pad, and also a menstrual hygiene information pack in the local language. Our competition for our target population is the old rags they have to use, and isolation or seclusion during their periods, and also a disposable pad that is a bit expensive and inaccessible. Our competitive advantage is that our pad is washable and reusable for up to 24 months. Our market validation, we have 579,000 women and girls, and they can access our products through 40 open-air markets across the county. These markets generate a revenue of 2.5 million a day. There are also over 250 primary schools across Narok with a population of 700 pupils, and 49% of these are girls aged 9 to 19 years. Our adoption strategy is to sell at the open-air weekly markets across the county. We also hope to distribute through our quarterly pad drives as an organization. We hope to distribute through Influencers for Impact, and we also hope to forge partnership with other NGOs and CSOs and distribute to our partner schools through our donor-funded projects. Our revenue model is that we sell on the weekly open-air market, and we project that we're able to sell at least 100 packets at the cost of 650 Kenya shillings. That will amount to 390,000 per week and 1.5 million a month. Our donor-funded projects, we have an annual Teens Festival, and we can generate 520,000 through sales. And we also have an education program that can generate 120,000 per year. The projected generation from Influencers for Impact is 325,000 per month, and online fundraisers is 195,000 per quarter. Our financial needs, we need to buy fabric, we need to buy packaging materials, and we need labor and distribution for the sanitary products. And the cumulative total we need to raise is 500,000 Kenya shillings, or $3,500. This will produce an initial 2,000 packets that can be sold within the first 6 months, generating a revenue of 1.2 million Kenya shillings. Our ask is a one-off impact investment of $3,500 or 450,000 Kenya shillings. The team involved right now is myself, and with an impact investment, I hope to be joined by 3 tailors and 2 salespersons for distribution. That's my pitch. And now I open the floor for questions, comments, and any clarifications needed.
Thank you so much, Salian. So Caroline already raised her hand. Caroline, over to you.
Hi, let me try to see if my video will last. I want you guys to talk to a faceless individual. Hi, Salian. First of all, that's a fantastic pitch, I have to say. So I know Shirley said people were nervous. You sounded great. So just to say, you did a very good job there. So I have a question on some social aspects, and then I'll probably give some advice because I don't have a lot of material except for your page. So one of the questions I have is regarding reusable sanitary towels, right? There is normally a question and a concern around the hygiene maintenance of this type of reusable pads, because they're cloth-based or something, and they have to be washed, and washing out blood out of anything can be really difficult. Menstrual blood, on the other hand, is a different monster, and there's a possibility of infections. Is there any aspect in your distribution and sales strategy that will include either some sort of lessons or pictures or information on the packaging on how this can be maintained to make sure that they actually stay hygienic for this entire reusable period? So I'll start with that. Maybe you can answer that before I go on to the next point I wanted to make quickly.
Thank you so much. When I ventured into menstrual hygiene products, my concern was also the hygiene of the reusable pad. And for that reason, I've invested a lot in research on fabrics and easy to clean ones, the most absorbent. And what we've done is that we're able to come up with a product that is easy to clean, does not hold stain, and also absorbent and comfortable to the skin. Our packet also contains a menstrual hygiene pack, information pack, that is done in pictures and also in the local language, so that even women or mothers who cannot read or cannot understand English or Swahili, they can see the information and they're able to access it in the local language.
Thank you so much for thinking about that. I guess for me, just two pieces of advice, one on the fundraising and the other on the operation strategy. I think for the fundraising, you're looking for what I would say is an attainable amount of money. And because of the model that you are designing, this is funding that you're highly likely to get through a grant process. So what I can say is that I will share any information directly with Shali that I find that might be a good opportunity for you. I think what you're doing is great. I love NAROC. NAROC is a place that, women really need a lot of this type of support based on the structure and the gender disaggregation issues. I think on the operational side, again, all I have is a pitch and some of your thoughts around revenue. I think one thing you need to pay attention to, and if this is not a strong skill set on your side, it would be helpful to find someone in your network with a finance background to really help you to think about what we call your unit economics or the product costing and what your true margin can be based on your different sales strategies, and think about, as you start selling, where is the more efficient avenue to sell? Because I've seen several companies such as yours, and the biggest challenge is typically that because you are serving low-income customers, you will probably have to price much lower than market. And distribution also in areas like this can be more complex, right? So making sure that you're monitoring your margin more than just your revenue, and figuring out constantly with your team which is the more efficient pathway. So even with the cleaning, I was already thinking light bulb, you could easily partner as you grow, right? With maybe a detergent distributor. This is probably an idea they've not thought of, so they could attach some of their product to your product, and then you could make that a sales mechanism and even a promotion one that can speak volumes for both your business and give advantage to them. This could also be something Unilever is interested in. Again, just light bulb, something to note somewhere. And I'll also work with Shali on any other ideas I come across, but fantastic pitch and really great work that you're doing.
Thank you.
I guess, Carolyn, you did take up the 5 minutes for the judges, so we'll have to move on quickly to the next pitch so that we do not miss out on our time slot. And next we will have Whitson from Botanical Landscaping. Whitson, over to you.
Thank you, Shali. I'm Whitson. My name is Whitson, and I'm thrilled to introduce you to a groundbreaking botanical landscaping venture. In a world where concrete and glass dominate, that's the problem statement. In a world where concrete and glass is dominant, we have embarked on a groundbreaking on a transformation of ordinary spaces into extraordinary natural splendor. Our solution, we are looking at to transform the urban landscapes all the way from concrete to the all the way from commercial, residential, and urban public spaces into natural, beautiful spaces. But let me share the story that truly aligns with the missions of our product. Our esteemed client, Ambassador Jean Kamau, beacon of inspiration and support for young entrepreneurs, once extended her encouragement to us. Her dedication to fostering the dreams of the youths resonates deeply with our mission. She recognized the importance of our spaces that not only pleases the eye, but also nurture the soul. Her patronage underscores the significance of our mission in the eyes of those who understand the power of botanical beauty. As the demand on the market validation, as the demand for eco-conscious solutions surge, our opportunity is immense. We are seeking a capital injection of $70,000, a sum that will propel us to acquire cutting-edge garden equipment, which will empower us for both internal and external operations. This strategic move will not only maximize our efficiency, but also open new revenue streams, making every dollar invested work tirelessly for us. A portion of this investment will drive the recruitment of essential personnel. This personnel, the individuals who share our commitment to sustainability, creativity, hence pushing the boundaries of our botanical industry. Another portion will be directed towards strategic marketing and promotional branding. We have devised an ingenious strategy for social media monetization, turning our organic growth into a revenue generation engine. With competitive advantage, delving into whatever sets us apart, what ignites our passion, as well as what guarantees our success. We have experts in horticultural and botanical knowledge. Our team isn't just a group of landscapers, they are artists armed with profound knowledge of plant species, soil intricacies, and environmental dynamics. So we believe we're going to take advantage of these skills to the advantage as compared to our market. Sustainable practices. In an era where environmental consciousness is paramount, our commitment to eco-friendliness is unwavering. Our landscapes thrive naturally, leaving behind a legacy of ecological harmony. Then we have personalized and cost-effective landscape designs. Just as every individual possesses a distinct personality, we believe every garden should have its own unique character. Our collaborations with clients goes beyond superficial preferences. We immerse ourselves in their vision, lifestyle, and aspirations. The result is a bespoke design that evoke awe and surpass all the expectations. Those captures most of the services that Botanical offers in the market. Dear friends, a dream without the means to soar remains tethered to the ground. Our $70,000 capital injection is the wind beneath our wings. It breathes life into aspiration, full of growth, and ensures that every dollar is a seed that blossoms into extraordinary landscapes. So I implore you to join hands with us to partake in this remarkable journey of transforming spaces, enriching lives, and nurturing the environment. Together we will paint the world with vibrant hues of nature, one awe-inspiring landscape at a time. I wish I could share the screen, but I believe this will be shared at the right time. Thank you. I'll invite for any questions.
Thank you so much, Whitson, for sharing. Agnes, are you on the call? Caro, do you have any questions that you'd like Whitson to expound on? Any questions for Whitson?
Hi, Shirley. Can I ask? I was going to leave this for the other judge so that I don't hog
No.
the judging.
No worries.
Thank you, Whitson. When you say eco-friendly, I wanted to understand a little bit more about what that means. Do you have a specific green approach to your work? Is there a element of, better environmental protection that makes your particular landscaping operation different from others? The reason I ask this again is also in the context of landscaping. There's a lot of use, of course, of fertilizer. Not fertilizer, a lot of use of chemical agents, right? And as we've seen a lot of the big cases. So I just wanted to get a sense of what is the eco part that makes your work stand out. And if you said that and I didn't hear it clearly, I apologize.
Okay, thank you very much, Caroline. On the eco-friendly, we tend to use most of the biological agents or eco compounds for example, while getting rid of most of the nuisance pests that affect our plants in our gardens, we use compounds like the extracts from the neem extracts, which are very effective in controlling most of pests like whiteflies. They do quite well. We are also using rabbit urine. Rabbit urine is one of the effective ways to also to keep away most of the meanest pests that affect our flowers. Besides, rabbit urine is also a very good source of manure for the plants. Yeah, so those are some of the ways that we're using to ensure that we don't base on most of the conventional chemicals. We also use some plants that repel most of the insects. We have plants that, so in our landscapes, we try to make sure that there are specific areas which are prone to specific pests. So we make sure that in our landscapes, we incorporate specific plants in those gardens that will keep such pests at bay, including snakes.
Okay. Thank you very much for that, Whitson. That's very helpful.
Thank you.
Thank you, Whitson. We will move on to the next entrepreneur, Linda Sigala. Linda from Tuebora.
Okay. Are you able to hear me?
Perfect.
Okay, so Shirley was not able to get my second name, but my name is Linda Sigilai. I'm presenting from Tuebora. And I'll just start with some statistics. And did you know that there has been a 700% increase in female imprisonment since the year 1960? This is according to a report by the Sentencing Project 2020. And at Tuebora, we believe in second chances. The reason why we exist is because we believe in second chances. And to just elaborate this, I'll take you through the journey of one Joyce Wanja, who was the first beneficiary of Tuebora. And we met Joyce in the year 2021, March. She had been in Langata prison for 13.5 years, and she left in May 2021. And when we met her, her case is not different. According to the Beyond Bars Report 2022, Joyce is similar to 74% of other women in Kenyan prisons who have been imprisoned due to poverty-related crimes. And from this number of women, those who are able to come out of prison after serving their sentences, 55% of them get back to prison due to an enabling environment that is out here. So the problem that exists is unemployment among the youth and formerly imprisoned women. The problem is poverty-related crimes. So unemployed youth end up in poverty-related crimes. Imprisoned women who come from prison end up back in prison due to poverty-related crimes. And the other problem that exists is a problem of stigma. Women and other people, persons who have been from prison, end up, after serving their sentences in the system, they still serve life sentences out here because of the stigma that the society presents to them while they're reintegrating to society. The solution that we provide as Tuebora is a top-notch entrepreneurship and stitching skills training that we provide to youth and women to provide employment and to unlock economic opportunities. The competitive advantage that we have as a brand is that we are socially and economically sustainable as a business. We provide decent jobs for youth and women. The other advantage that we have is that we do a localized concept. We work with our local community and we solve our local problems. We are Kenyans who understand our issue and try to solve it the best way we can. The other thing we do is that we co-create, we produce a synergy between our brand and business by providing real life experiences for the tailors to skills train and also work in designing and creating new designs. So you might ask yourself, how big is this problem? And unemployment is a global issue with 64 million youth being unemployed worldwide and 13.5% in Kenya. So how do we make money? With strategic partnerships. We partner with local NGOs and other CBOs, and then we train them and we create revenue. We also sell the clothes that we make. We don't just skills train, but we make clothes and sell. We also do trainings, and part of these trainings give us some money. We also work with grants and donor funding to provide these trainings and to make them affordable for our community. We have partnerships with one of a kind agency in the US that helps us to sell some of our clothes to make money. So I will return you back to our first beneficiary, who was Joyce Wanja. If you remember her story in 2021 and the story that is currently there, they are very different. After going through skills training with Tuebora, and right now, Joyce Wanja, who was our first beneficiary, is on herself, having her own tailoring place where she has created 4 opportunities for other women from prison, and she has successfully reunited with her 5 children because she was able to create a life of her own. This is the potential that Tuebora has to change the lives of not just one person, but many other people who are either unemployed or from the prison system. We are asking for mentorship in our industry, which is in the fashion industry, connection to markets and mentorship so that we can create a sustainable revenue stream for ourselves. We are also asking for $25,000 US for training and to increase our production. You might ask yourself, maybe I'm not giving the money, but how can I help? You can get in touch with me as the founder. We also have our website where you can purchase a few of our clothes to support us, and you can connect us with people who can help us grow. So thank you so much. And if you have any questions, I'm open to answer. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Linda, for your insightful description of the work that you do. And from the judges, do we have any questions?
Yes, I do. So Linda, again, thank you very much. Again, Shirley, I don't know where this nervousness is now, but people seem to really be very, smart and sharp with their pitches. I think what you're solving is a really relevant problem. Have to be honest, this is something I've never thought about, and I guess this is, when you don't have the context of life that other people experience, you don't know what is needed. And I think this is the amazing thing from having these sort of sessions, right? I think two things from me. One question is around diversification of the skill set. Is there a specific reason that this is only tailoring, or do you envision adding additional income generating type of skills? Secondly, on the 25,000, so you said to broaden your operations. Just give us a bit more context on that. So is this, do you have increased demand that is you need more working capital? Are you unable to fill the demand now, or is this mostly just to maybe improve the current operation? I just want to get a bit more context on that as well. But otherwise, thank you for the amazing work that you're doing.
Sorry, I had not admitted. Thank you so much, Judge Caroline. For diversification, we are looking into diversifying because as we meet more, we were working with women first, but in the recent past, we have encountered men who are from prison who have come to us, and they have skills in painting, in woodwork, in many skills that can be in construction or in repair, but we will need money to diversify there. Why we have been in the textile industry is because we have machines and at least we have skilled people. So that's what we are able to offer at the moment. But yeah, diversification is something that is real and it exists, and we would really be willing to move there. In terms of why the 25,000, we have been in operation since June 2021. And at the moment we have broken even and our systems are now working. So we would like to get into new markets, try ready to wear clothing, get into different places so that we can explore sustainability of the business.
Thank you. Thank you for that feedback.
Agnes, do you have any questions for Linda? Okay, we will move forward. Next, we have Kesho from Fieka Ventures.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Yes, perfect.
Perfect. So thank you so much. My name is Kesho Kyoko, and I'm the co-founder of Fieka Ventures, where we aim to unlock economic prosperity for our farmers through agriculture. So Fieka Ventures exists to provide affordable, modern farming equipment so that smallholder farmers can improve their yields and profitability. But what drives us? Fieka started as a mother-daughter duo who are passionate about entrepreneurship and are keen to take this remarkable journey to transform the agricultural landscape in Kenya. We have a team of 8 staff members behind us. And for us, Fieka is only one of 2 companies that have been given the exclusive distributorship rights for the Trap brand of garden tools and farming equipment from Brazil. So this brand has been performing for over 70 years and enjoys global as well as local recognition. So for us, the goal is to scale up our operations so that our products can reach the people who need the most, which is the smallholder farmers. So as per the Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock, Kenya has a very vibrant agricultural sector. It contributed about 22.4% of the GDP last year, and 80% of the over 47 million Kenyans gain their livelihood directly or indirectly from the agricultural sector. But the unfortunate thing is 75% of our crop production is largely rural and small scale. And for us, we believe the precise problem is that our farmers are using outdated products, which end up costing them time and needing to be replaced. So for us, our objective is to empower these smallholder farmers to enable them achieve 3 objectives, namely to increase their productivity, to save them time and labor, and to improve their crop yields. We believe in doing so, we'll be able to enhance the livelihoods of our farmers and direct them towards economic growth. So to give you an idea of our business model, we pay our supplier in Brazil for for either a 20-foot or a 40-foot container. It takes 1 month to manufacture. Then sailing from Brazil to the port of Mombasa takes 44 days. The clearing process can take 3 to 4 days, after which the containers are taken to our warehouse in Mulolongo. And it is from this center point that we now make our deliveries to our customers based in Nairobi and in key accounts based in 7 different counties. So within 4 years of operation, we've been able to onboard over 45 clients, including Kengen and Quickmart range of supermarkets. But our goal is to utilize the funding we receive to reach out to the farmers directly through farmer cooperatives, TVET programs, and NGOs that are affiliated with farmers. Our ask, therefore, is our revenues, first of all, are ranging around $35,000, with our main challenge being twofold. Firstly, stock outs, because our products tend to last about 3 months, but are uptaken by the market quite fast. And the second challenge has been our inability to reach out directly to the farmers. Our ask, therefore, is $175,000, which we believe will enable us to get a sufficient amount of inventory to cater for our distribution costs and warehousing, as well as support a robust marketing and market visit plan that will enable us to establish these linkages with the smallholder farmers. In terms of competition, we are in competition with 3 other well-known international brands from Canada, Brazil, and Italy, as well as local manufacturing brands. However, we believe that based on our market traction, that the product we're offering is something that is not only beneficial, but can be useful for this target group. So it is our hope that we will receive the funding and be able to reach this target audience and contribute to food security goals within Kenya and beyond. So thank you for your time, and I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you so much, Kesho. I do have a written question down here. Do you have any success stories or examples of tangible improvements in the lives of smallholder farmers as a result of your intervention?
Okay, thank you for that question. As I've said, for now, we are trying to establish that, but at the moment, I can speak to one NGO that we partnered with. They're called Kenya Intertrade. And basically, this is an NGO that works specifically with women farmers that got in touch with us through our website. And basically, what they were able to do is to get the smaller hand tools, because again, the FAO and World Bank backs up statistics that our farm force, the workforce behind farming, is largely constituted by women. So they came to us looking for easy to use garden tools because again, it's a very labor intensive work. So we were very happy to connect with them and give them hand tools that were sort of tailored towards making sure that the work they're doing on the farm as women farmers is easy to do. So that for us has been one success story, and we would like to have many more. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that. Any questions from you, Carolyn?
Yes. Thank you for that, Kesho, and again, very brilliant pitch. So I think I didn't fully understand when you say equipment, hand equipment. I wanted to understand, are these mostly for like the land preparation phase? What equipment? What does this equipment do specifically? Yeah, if you can just expound on that a bit more.
Sure. Thank you so much for the question. So for us, our tools are segmented into 2 categories. We have the garden tools, which are mainly the handheld tools. So these can be cutting tools, trimming tools that are utilized in the floriculture industry, tillers for the land, and basically anything that can be handheld falls into that first category. And then we have a second category of shredders, which are mainly used in the dairy value chain, as well as to grind maize to produce unga. So for that, we're also selling it as a mini portion mill that
Mhm.
women in cooperatives or in groups can utilize to do value addition to the farming, like what they farm on their farms. So I hope that is clear.
Yes. Are they powered by electricity or solar, or both?
We have both electricity and those powered by petrol.
Okay, I probably have a few more questions, but I'll have Shirley do an intro on that side just for me to learn a bit more. But thank you, and you've definitely piqued my interest.
Thank you so much.
Moving on to the next venture, we have Kelvin from Matani Radio. Kelvin, you're on mute. Please unmute.
Yeah, thank you. My name is Kelvin Nyangweso. I work for Mtaani Radio as a station manager, a community-based radio station serving the majority of Dagoretti sub-county. We reach a population of 350,000 who are listening to us, and whom we conduct outreach activity together with them. So dashing back to my presentation, on our profile, Mtaani Radio serve the majority of Dagoretti sub-county, both north and south. Mtaani Radio bridges the gap between the listeners and the community leaders as a way to improve the community, as a way to empower the community to be in charge of their own affairs. And as a station, we provide solutions on healthy living, entrepreneurship, governance, information, and awareness creation using the youthful voice of Mtaani Radio. Mainly, our target audience is the population in Dagoretti, both north and south, but specifically the between 25 years youth who are listening to Mtaani Radio. So how do we do that? We do that through a radio interview where we invite expertise to give some point of views in terms of entrepreneurship, which are able now to interact with experts. We also conduct training town hall meeting for investors to engage directly with the young entrepreneurs. We also do some job linkages during this training and town hall meetings for and access to the youth, the entrepreneurship, whereby they can interact directly with the grantors or the expertise or even the investors to see the available resources or grant opportunity for self-reliable and economical empowerment. So our value proposition, we provide information on economic empowerment, health and governance, and government action that is specific to residents of Dagoretti, both north and south, so that they can be self-empowered and make informed decisions in terms of the health matters and entrepreneurship. So they ask, so as a station, we seek 500,000 to expand our campaign reach, and through partnering with you, we'll further the messaging on the ground and give you visibility during the training and the organized town halls meetings, which will be complemented through the radio promotion using the useful voice of Mtaani Radio. We also have an upcoming event which we can utilize on that and give you some visibility showcase, because we will be having some exhibition around in September. The 3 days event in Dagoretti will be graced by His Excellency, the Governor of Nairobi County, and hosted by the chief guest, our area MP in Dagoretti. So we welcome you on this. So you can visit our website, www.mtaaniradio.co.ke. We are also on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn, where more information is there. If you want to engage with us, the contact information also is provided for more insight. And at that gesture, I welcome any point or any question or any concern for clarification. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Kelvin, for your presentation. Do we have any questions from the judges?
Yes, I have a question. Thank you very much, Kelvin, for that presentation and also the really good work you're doing. I think there was a report this week about how radio is still the most highly consumed form of media in Kenya. So there's definitely something there. So I had a question around product development and customer feedback. So being a media house, if I'm not mistaken, and you can correct me, most of your assessment of how programs are being consumed is based on ratings. Is this something you use to kind of collect feedback on, you know, which entrepreneurship program or discussion has been most effective for your listeners? And my second question is around how do you make sure, because the thing with entrepreneurship is it's always evolving and it's very dynamic, just like the youth you're trying to reach, right? So I wanted to understand a bit more about how do you make sure that you're designing your programs to be, you know, relevant and as dynamic and, you know, as easily relatable to the young people as possible. Yes, to ensure that they are effective in delivering this information on entrepreneurship and health.
Thank you so much for that. One, we conduct annually audience measurement questionnaires, and this happens live on radio, so either positive or negative. Secondly, we have the organization that conducts audience measurement of the people whom you're reaching, you know, in terms of gender. Thirdly, we have our social media platform, which all our platforms are linked to our website. Now we can be able now to measure with Google Analytics, you get like constant or monthly data of the reach of the people who maybe have consumed our content through the social media platform. And on the radio basis, during the interactive session with experts, we have the phone-ins, we have the messages, and through the platforms, which are directly engaged. And also the WhatsApp, we have our WhatsApp group with 203 fans, whom once you post the engagement there, you get some direct feedback with also some voice notes on the same. Getting back to the second question, report by the Aga Khan University did show that the Gen Z, they have specific kind of content that they want to consume, and from that point, we try to redesign our programming to fit in with the new generation as much as the radio programming cuts across or spills. So mostly it shows that they consume content that of entrepreneurship. They want to make money, content of I wanna own a home. So these are kind of programming that we have intended and fit into our program, because we have specific programming, you know, that targets specifically the youth, which also talks directly to the youth with a language that they really understand. And also through the town halls, this is where you get this kind of feedback. As we understand, radio is still the most globally source of information and trusted. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that feedback, Kelvin. It's very elaborative and it's helped to give more context. Thank you.
You're most welcome. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much. We need to move to the next entrepreneur. So next we will have Webacha Bethel. Oh, Bethel for Webacha.
Right. I'm standing in for Bethel. My name is Marvin Kimani. I'm a co-founding partner at Webacha Company Limited. Our vision is to promote eco-friendly living using bamboo. This is my story. Amid the convenience of ordering takeaway food, a drawer filled with clattering single-use plastic utensils became a symbol of waste and guilt. Determined to make a difference, a shift to biodegradable bamboo cutlery ignited our journey towards conscious consumption, inspiring positive change and transforming a community. Therefore, our mission became to elevate your culinary experience through eco-conscious consumption. I will make a case of why plastic is not fantastic. This is a problem. Over 8 million tons of plastic trash fill our oceans. About 98% of single-use plastics are made of fossil fuels. Plastic utensils and bottles take an upward of 450 years to degrade. And therefore, we introduce the solution, Webacha biodegradable cutlery sets, a sustainable alternative to single-use plastic cutlery. Our set is made of 100% natural and renewable bamboo, which is fully biodegradable and compostable in 150 days, as opposed to 450 years of plastic. We have a minimal ecological footprint throughout the whole manufacturing process. And we get to offer a comprehensive range of knives, forks, spoons, and stirrers. This is a product overview. Our products are environmentally friendly. They're sustainably sourced from renewable resources, thus minimizing deforestation. Our products are biodegradable and compostable. They break down naturally, leaving no harmful residue behind. Our products are sleek and aesthetically pleasing. They're beautifully crafted, providing an attractive experience. Also, our products are durable and functional. Webacha cutlery are sturdy and reliable for various food types and dining experiences. This is how our market looks like. The global disposable cutlery market for bamboo by 2031 will be valued at 16.2 billion. In Kenya, the food and beverage market is currently valued at $8.6 billion. Nairobi alone, we have takeaway servings of food ordered by Kenyans exceeding 10,000 units daily. And that translates to about 3.2 million single-use plastic cutlery annually that most likely will end up in a landfill. Our competition. In a dynamic world of disposable cutlery products, our bamboo cutlery line faces competition from various players, particularly the traditional disposable cutlery manufacturers. However, what sets us apart is that we use bamboo, a sustainable, highly renewable, durable, and aesthetically pleasing material that aligns perfectly with eco-conscious consumer trends of today. As Webacha, we align perfectly with eco-conscious consumer trends of today, and we aspire to grow a local brand. A lot of what we have is imported. We target restaurants and takeaway food services, airline and railway catering, events and parties, picnics, corporate cafeterias, and eco-conscious individuals. Our business model is as this. We are projecting to produce 200,000 pieces of bamboo cutlery set. Each set is comprised of 25 pieces sold at $2.5, roughly 380 Kenya shillings. Total monthly revenues are as $26,667, converted to be 3.04 million. Our ask, we have a financial ask of $49,097 which will be used to purchase the bamboo cutlery machine production line. We also have a financial ask of technical support and product design and development. The Bacha has a functional team lead comprising of myself, Marvin, and Bethel Wafula, who is also a co-founding partner. Thank you for listening in. You can catch up us on www.webacha.com. Happy to receive questions and clarify.
Thank you so much for that, Marvin. Do we have any questions from our judges? Agnes, Carolyn?
Yes, I do. Thank you very, very much for that presentation. Just like you pointed out, like I'm an eco-conscious consumer, but my question is around, just the behavioral aspect of many customers, right? So I understand where you're coming from. My challenge with a lot of this type of products is that the market is still very niche, to find people who really care that much about whether they use a plastic fork or not. And so for that reason, the price point for most eco-conscious products tends to be higher. And if you want to target restaurants and other commercial users, that's definitely the biggest selling point for them will be price point. So I think my main question to you is what is going to be your market penetration approach? Yeah. And just not just the identification of who you want to be your customer, but how do you want to start this process? And then what type of price point is your product at in comparison to plastic, which is your competition now?
Thank you, Judge. As you rightly mentioned, ours is a niche market as opposed to mass market. And progressively, we should be building our clientele base into the mass markets. And we're targeting rightfully the takeaway joints, restaurants and food services, airlines and say railway catering. But also we have corporates that are very eco-conscious. If I may just mention Safaricom's and the likes, the cafeteria will be selling this particular, will be selling the takeaway using disposable cutleries. Therefore, our market penetration approach will largely be very targeted first to these corporates. And as such, then we get to competitively price our products based on what essentially the competitor, who is a plastic cutlery, is selling. I know there's some work around that, but that then would be a strategy.
Thank you for that.
Agnes, do you have any question?
Yeah, probably I'd start by giving a comment, and I'm so sorry. I joined the session quite late. I unfortunately had another meeting I had to transition from into this one, but I am happy to get to hear a little bit about the eco-conscious consumption theory and this dining experience, but more importantly, for me, even as you think about your market entry strategy, and Caroline actually mentioned an issue, and I would call it probably mindset issue, and what would the general public then, why would they be motivated to utilize your product? And this would be, you're talking about hotels, you're talking about all these outlets that are quickly the people who are already utilizing this form of plastic containers. So probably a sort of incentive structure that you can think about that could actually motivate people to consider utilizing your product instead of the plastic would be another probable thought you could consider in terms of a market penetration strategy or approach. That was just something I thought about. But even as you think about the costs and the pricing, and considering the fact that plastic is very cheap out here, how do you then leverage? Then I think I'm also keen to understand how sustainable in terms of raw material and availability of raw material have you really thought through? At that point, when you get a funder who is willing to fund you, are you assured of a continuous supply of the raw material to be able to produce this? This is just something I thought about, because I mean, that is not just simple material that you'd get just easily. I don't know, but maybe this is something you could probably give us some bit of more information around. And then, of course, I'd be keen to hear your thoughts around protecting your. I look at it as a form of innovation. Yeah. How have you thought about that? Lest within 2 or 3 months you see people out there already quickly producing the same product. Or maybe it's not unique. You've looked at your competitors. Probably there's somebody else who is producing another container from something else closely related to what you're doing. This is something you also need to look at. Apart from plastics, plastic containers, which other materials or packaging materials are being used currently that is not plastic, and that could probably be another form of competition. So I know there's an innovator in Nakuru who is doing something with some material, I'm forgetting, and I have a feeling they do packaging material. I'm not so sure. So probably you'd want to just do some little bit of research around that on your competitors apart from plastics. I think those were the 2 or 3 areas that I thought of quickly during your presentation, but I love it. I love it. And it's very interesting to say the least. And also think about the material that you're using, what is the impact on the environment as well as you utilize this? How are you then, what are you doing as a company to be able to replace, as you take up this material from the environment, what are you doing to the environment, just to return the environment? This is just a thought that also came to me. So yeah, but very good initiative, and happy to listen. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Agnes. I hope, Marvin, you've been able to note those comments. We need to quickly move on to the next pitch. Next, we will have Stella Cheboy from Narafiti Local.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Shali. My name is Cheboy, founder of Narafiti Local, where we are on a mission to make learning fun for students in rural schools in Kenya. And I start by asking you on the caller question. Growing up, did you ever learn anything in a fun way? For sure, I did, and I share a short story. So in my primary school, mathematics was not fun for very many students, and it came with, people getting fidgety and all that. But one mathematics teacher came up with a fun way for the entire class to learn and love and enjoy mathematics. So he introduced skipping rope for us to be able to use that to memorize the mathematical table. And from introduction of that skipping of the rope, everyone looked forward to mathematics session where we could skip rope, use even stories to get answers to different summation that we needed to find answers to. And I want each student in Kenya to experience the same while learning. According to a Transforming Education in Africa report by UNICEF, it was posited that approximately 87% of children are unable to read, to write by the age of 10. And a third of students who enroll in primary school do not complete because they drop out. The problem we are solving is that a huge number of students in rural schools lack the inspiration and motivation to dream big and live life to their full potential, leading to high school high dropout rates in the primary schools in Kenya. And the solution we are offering is basically to bring fun for students in these rural schools through creative arts so that they can be able to unlearn what holds them back as students and learn how to dream, how to own their stories, how to envision their futures and live out to actualize the same. We live in an era where education has been an equalizer, and growing up, our dad always told us, we may not have much, but education is the only equalizer. As I send you to school, as I struggle to pay your fees, go and give it your all. Because for sure, when you give your all in education, you will be able to afford anything you would want. You will be able to influence the world in a positive way because of what you will acquire there. So according to the same UNICEF report, it was posited that over 100 million children of school-going age in Africa are out of school. So either they never started school or majority of them dropped out for one reason or another. And we believe that part of the reason is lack of that motivation and inspiration. Narafiti Local focuses its operation currently in the select rural schools in Laikipia County in Kenya. And part of our competition are the online learning platforms. Social media is evolving every day. So you find we have YouTube tutorials into storytelling, into journaling, into different clubs. People can be able to access that there. And then we have churches, which have the trust of parents who allow them to be able to train their kids on different things, part of which Narafiti Local are big on. Our comparative advantage is our creative ways that bring fun in learning for students. We work with different experts in creative industries, and most of our activities bring joy and fun to students, even as I learn away from the classroom, and our advocacy to quality education through events and engagements with stakeholders in the education sector. And our love for kids enable us to meet them at their level so that we can be able to play together, roll on the grass, tell stories authentically without fear of judgment and all that. In our business model, we work with a couple of partners, and part of our partners include publishing companies, the select schools in Laikipia counties, the Ministry of Education, creative artists, and Parents Teachers Association in select schools. And our major activities include storytelling, journaling, drawing, painting, spoken word poetry, and formation of various clubs in school like drama, environmental clubs, among others. Approximate costs per activity per school currently is $350, and our ask today is we invite you to journey with us by extending funding of $6,500 USD to enable us expand Narafiti Local's activity to 5 schools in Laikipia County, as well as set up structures that will enable sustainability. And part of these structures is training the teachers to have the buy-in and be patrons to the clubs that are being formed, and train the students on soft skills and leadership skills so that they can take charge of the clubs to allow Narafiti Local exits at a certain point and move on to impact other schools, and the schools will remain sustainable moving forward. Thank you. I invite any questions that you may have for me.
Do we have any questions? Agnes?
Well, none from my end at the moment. Keen to read a little bit more about the initiative and keen to hear a little bit more about how you take care of both learners as well as the trainers, the teachers, to ensure that there's a balance such that you're not empowering one and leaving one behind. So leaving no one behind. I'm looking at this from a social perspective, and I'm looking at this as a social enterprise. And how then do you ensure that you have everyone included, total inclusivity, as well as just ensuring then also sustainability. I think you mentioned that, but I think you need to be very clear in terms of sustainability of the enterprise beyond the project, and how then do you sustain it, and probably scale. Yeah, think about scale beyond Laikipia. Do you, I believe that is a dream you'd want to achieve. So how do you scale beyond that? But that would only be possible through sustainability as well. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so
Good.
much. Sorry?
Yes, please, you can answer briefly.
Okay, thank you so much, Agnes, for that. I'm sorry, someone is talking.
I can hear you.
Okay, thank you so much, Agnes, for that question. So basically, currently we are a team of 3, both with backgrounds in creative arts and teaching, and we are doing these fully on voluntary basis. So part of the funding we are seeking will go into onboarding more facilitators to enable us to be able to scale. And part of the facilitators that will be onboarded will come in handy to train the teachers in the selected schools on being patrons of the clubs and how to lead students throughout embracing the different creative spaces we shall have created, like storytelling, reading clubs. We also intend to stock books in the existing community and school libraries, but as well as incorporate Kindle gadgets, which basically has online books to inculcate the reading culture among the students. So it is very, very important for teachers to get to understand all these different platforms we shall bring on board to be able to guide students or support Narafiti Local in guiding students into embracing the same and incorporating the same in their daily lives, so that at one point when Narafiti Local exists to empower other schools, the leadership of the students and the teachers in those schools ensure continuity of the different fun activities and clubs in the school. I hope that answers your question, Agnes.
Yes, that is appropriate. That is good.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Stella. We need to move on because we are pressed for time. Thank you so much. Next, we'll be moving on to Faith from the Amot Network. Faith. Faith, you are muted. We still can't hear you. Can't hear you. While we wait for you to figure that out, can we then move to Gerard? Gerard?
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Perfect.
imagine a class 8 student waking up at around 3:30 in the morning, going to the local slaughterhouse, seeking to buy the animal intestines, and then boiling them, stuffing them inside the intestine, and then rushing to school, come back in the evening and roast them and sell them. It's called mutura in our local language. That was my life when I was growing up. I would wake up very early in the morning, go to school, go get animal intestines, boil them, stuff them inside the intestine, and then later on after school, roast them so that I can feed my 4 siblings. Fast forward, this story goes like, when I was growing up, I grew up in a polygamous family. And in a polygamous family, my father had 8 wives. And so most of the time we lived without our father. And it was also a very violent home. And so it was a painful evening in most cases. And therefore my mother died later on due to domestic violence. And my other 2 sisters were married at a very tender age, both also died of HIV at a very tender age. And fast forward again, after I grew up and became a pastor, one day I was sitting in my office, and then over and over again, I saw someone that I thought was a young girl. But then I came to realize that she was a mother. At the time when everybody is going to school, I saw a girl at the age of school-going age passing across the property of the church with a child on her back, rushing up and down, carrying water on her head with a child on her back. I had to reach out and to find out, what is your problem? Why are you not in school? Whose child is this? In the first instance, she never wanted to open up and talk to me. But later on, she said that, okay, I gave birth. The father of the child does not want to own the responsibility. And my mother has to go to work. So I have to remain behind to take care of my baby. That is when it dawned to me that I needed to do something. And so we started Fadhili Dada organization, an organization that rescues teenage mothers and keep them in a safe space so that they can continue with education while we take care of their children at the same time. My name is Jared Okello. I'm the founder of Fadhili Dada organization. We are based in Kisumu, and we run a safe house where we rescue girls, teenage mothers, and keep them in the house until they finish their basic education. So looking at the problem of teenage motherhood, we came to realize that teenage motherhood, number one, was coming at a point of concession. It's a peer-to-peer concession. But again, that was not the only problem. We also had the problem of poverty. We also have the problem of lack of knowledge, lack of education. We also have the problem of child abuse, that all incorporated were creating the problem of teenage pregnancy. But then we even dug deeper later on to find out that the biggest problem above all these other problems are dysfunctional families. And so how do we deal with this problem of dysfunctional families? And then we realize that this is also certain kind of problems that may not go away from the society. The problem of poverty, the problem of lack of education, lack of reproductive health education, the problem of dysfunctional families, etc., etc. These are societal problems that are always there. Therefore, Fadhili Dada sought to put up as a way of bringing the solution to the society, is to put up an incubation center, a resource center, whereby we can offer career technical education for the teenage mothers and women in vulnerable situations, so that we can be able to give social protection for a long-term as a long-term solution to the problem of teenage motherhood and the problem of poverty. Fadhili Dada is seeking to raise $50,000 to put up a resource center, for the construction of a resource center, and for the purpose of buying the machineries for the resource centers, and also for marketing of our resource center. Moving forward to that, we have a team of a very hardworking group of members of this team, which one of them is a lawyer, another one is a civil engineer, and of course I'm a pastor, and then we have also a career marketer in the digital platform. And so we as a team are working hard to make sure that we help the girls to identify what they are so interested in and give them a platform whereby they could, as fast as possible, they could learn a technical skill that will last a lifetime in their life. That way we tackle the issue of poverty and teenage motherhood by giving a lasting solution to that problem. Fadhili Dada, for the last 4 years that we've existed, I've been able to raise up to about $70,000, which $30,000 bought the land that we have now, and then the $4,000 constructed the safe house that we are now running. We receive a donation of $25,000 from Samaritan Pass for the food items at the safe house, and we also generate about $150 from the daycare at the Fadhili Dada daycare. We are looking forward to generate a revenue stream up in the amount of $40,000 per year once the resource center has been built. And we look forward to partnering with the county governments, where most of the infrastructural and technical support is needed. And we also seek to partner with other like-minded organizations that would wish to help us in establishing the technical training facilities that we seek to put together. That is all we have for Fadhili Dada, and apologize for the nervousness, but I'll seek to open up the platform for any questions that may arise.
Because we are pressed for time, we are going to move on to Faith, and then we will have the judges send in their questions. So Faith, please, your quick introduction.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Perfect.
Thank you. I'll switch on my video now. Thank you so much, Shirley, for being patient with me. I'll quickly get into the AMOT network. So the AMOT network is a safe space for moms where we share all things motherhood, both online and offline. We exist to explore the realities of motherhood, the physical, psychological, social, economic, and emotional changes women go through during the monumental transformation that motherhood evokes. We are building a community where these realities will be embraced in the most unfiltered ways, intimate and honest, by weaving together curated context, mom-to-mom inspiration, expert voices, and community support. This is our problem. I will tell you why, our little why. I became a mother in 2018, and to cut the long story short, I had very little to no support. And there was a lot of support to my baby girl. She could get support from my husband, my mother-in-law, my sisters, and everyone. But I felt no one understood what I'm going through as a mother, the whole transition process. And then fast forward again, I became a mother again with twins during the pandemic. And these emotions were evoked, and I sank into postpartum depression. So I reached out to a few mothers, asking them how they've been managing and how kind of support they've been receiving. And I realized that along the way, most of us mothers, we fail to get this kind of support that we need when we become women. We fail to get this kind of support when we become mothers. So I decided to start a little app called Dear Mama, where we have all these, where we build a community and a support where women and mothers can have their stories shared, they can have expert advice, they can build relationship at any time, anywhere, just at the tap of a button. And then why now? Why are we forming the app right now? It's called Dear Mama app, because there's no better time than now to take the world into another space, to have the mental well-being of a mother checked in, and to ensure that a mother is building a kind of support that will help her be a strong woman in the society. We believe at the AMOT network that a healthy family equates to a healthy mother, and a healthy mother equates to a healthy family. Our market size includes, let me just on this, women at various stages of motherhood, women seeking support, advice, and connection, women entrepreneurs and business owners. Our market size, total addressable market. The total addressable market for this app is the entire population of mothers in Kenya, which is estimated to be around 13.5 million. This includes mothers of all ages, for those who are just starting out to those who have been mothers for many years. Our segmented addressable market for this app is the subset of mothers in Kenya who are most likely to use it. This includes mothers who are active on social media, who are looking for support and resources, and who are willing to pay for premium features. And according to a recent study, there are about 4.5 million mothers in Kenya who fit this profile. Our serviceable obtainable market, the service for this app is the subset of mothers in some, the previous segment, who are most likely to be successful using the app. This includes mothers who are located in urban areas, who have access to the internet, and who are able to afford the premium features. According to the same study, there are around 2 million mothers in Kenya who fit this profile. Our business model, we are looking into this mother subscribing into our web app. First of all, there's going to be a free channel. That's the landing page where any mother can access free information, free service, free community, and things like that. And then there's going to be a premium part where now we offer expert advice. That's from the gynecologists, the nutritionists, the doulas, the midwives, just to mention but a few, and career expert, the HRs, because we realize after you become a mother, sometimes fitting back into the career world becomes challenges. So our app is going to provide that kind of support to our various women and mothers. Our attractions and milestone. So far, 167 women have connected in our private page in Facebook called Dear Mama. We have 20 positive stories that have been shared and 10 professional experts that have engaged and are okay in building long-lasting relationships with us. These professionals include gynecologists, nutritionists, doulas, midwives, HR, just to mention but a few. Our competition so far, we have pointed out 2 key competitors. That's the Motherhood Village and the Moms Village. And then our team consists of, before I go to our team, our products. We are building a user-friendly interface, a discussion forums, resource library, all under the same app, expert information and curated content. Our team comprises of Faith Ongiro, who is the founder, and then Frederick Anulala, who is the co-founder in charge of the web app development, our programs person called Ruth Masharia, our finance and admin in Violets, and then we have a very strong support from the board members. Our ask today, we are seeking to ask $50,000 USD, and 60% of this money is going to help us develop the app. As you've heard, it's gonna contain a wide array of interfaces from our prototype. We can share it in due time if someone wants to have a look at it. And then 40% of the 50,000 USD is gonna run our OPEX. That's our operating expenses, paying salary, paying for our office space, and paying for marketing and any other cost that is related under OPEX. Thank you so much. I welcome any questions.
Thank you so much, Faith, for sharing about your incredible initiative. Unfortunately, for the last 2 enterprises, we will have to have a hard stop on our pitching. Thankfully, so we have a physical pitching event that will be carried out at the end of September. So we will get another chance to pitch, but for today, we will have to have a hard stop. Thank you for everyone who was able to make it. Here today, I do not think that today would be possible without our judges, our supporters, our partners, and our believers. Your contributions have really have been the fuel that have powered this journey on. And even as we bid farewell to our virtual matching event, our work does not end here. It is merely a stepping stone towards a greater achievement. So for the enterprises that have been able to pitch here today, we will be sharing your pitch decks with the various partners and investors who were scheduled to be on this call. And we will then be able to match them with entrepreneurs that they are interested in. So stay connected with us, and we will be publishing the dates for our physical event very soon. And honestly, thank you from the depth of our hearts to the entrepreneurs for being with us throughout this entire journey. It has been a couple of weeks of intense training and preparation, and we look forward to seeing you all in person for the physical event. I guess I will be ending today's session here. We were supposed to end at 5:30. It is now almost 6. And as I always tell you, I'm a stickler for time, so we will have to end it here. Thank you all for coming today. Bye-bye. For the entrepreneurs on the call, please do stay on. We would like to take a picture of the cohort. For the rest of the team, for the rest of the individuals that joined the call, feel free to drop off, and then we will just have the cohort. I still see 17 participants. I'm just looking for cohort 1. Just cohort 1, just the entrepreneurs that pitched cohort 1, not cohort 2. Okay, I think we are, no. Okay, yeah, it's just down to us. How did you feel that went? Were you scared? Do you have any feedback with regards to how the virtual matching day went? Thankfully, you will have a physical one in the next few weeks. So you have, at least you've gotten to do that trial run. You will see the sort of judges that will be asking you questions, but here you'll be right in front of them and it's physical, so it's more intimidating in a way. So does anybody have any feedback? Yes, Stella?
Thank you, Shirley. As I had mentioned to you, I think early in the day, I'm always a confident person, but I told you this just all the confidence went. But the session I had with you, I think kind of helped. And with the feedback you gave me, it made me a little bit more comfortable. Although even during the pitch, I was still very anxious, but it really helped when you said the judges are very easy and kind, like just be easy, breathe in and do your thing. So I can say with the nervousness I felt, I really, really tried. I can't give myself a 30, I can give myself a 50, but there is room for improvement. So thank you for this. And to congratulate my people, they have done so well. I listened in and I was so proud of each of them. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Yeah, Shirley.
Okay.
Yes, I think my teammates have done a great job. They were able to really share what type of innovation they have and how it's standing out. They were also very elaborate in their presentation. Also, I liked how they gave stories. They started with stories, and that took you right into what they were sharing, the idea that they have. And I think it's important that they continue practicing so that it's at the tip of their fingers. They did well. Congratulations.
Anyone else? Just one more person, so we wrap up very quickly.
I think for me, the time limit, the 5 minutes, made me really, really nervous. And I kept feeling like I'm running out of time. So I had to skip over a lot of information just to stay within the 5 minutes. Something I need to keep working on.
So the thing is, we don't want to keep partners on calls for long because they start zoning out. So even for like the normal pitch, the physical pitching, we are going to take away questions because I realize questions take time. So it will just be pitching and then that's it. If you miss a point, there's no time for clarification. So you really need to get your pitch done in time at once. Anything else? Yes, please.
The place of the power deck. Let's just talk a little bit more about that. Usually it comes as an aid, like to help elaborate further. But then during a physical matchmaking, physical pitching, how extensive can we use a pitch deck? Is it like slide for slide, or how do you advise to go about that?
So ideally for the physical one, we will have screens. So you'll have a pointer to guide you. So I hope that helps.
Okay.
But now that's even a bit harder because you're reading, you're pointing. It's a bit, so we really need to practice. We have a couple of more weeks and yeah, we still have, but I'm really glad most of the judges did share good feedback. So that's something I'm really proud of. And I was in shock, but some of you really did a good job. Jared, I was scared for a while, but you guys, me and Jared were just at no, but Jared, good job. Honestly, you really came through. You really, really came through.
Shirley, what I can say is that I really apologize. And please forgive me. Stella knows me, I'm not this crappy. But since the month of July till now, it has been just an event after another. It is not a car accident, it's not robbery in my house, it's not a death of a loved one, but it has just been like from July, we lost a very good dear father in the Lord. Then when we were coming back, we had a car accident. Then the church got robbed with my computer inside it. Then, so I'm very sorry. Stella knows me very well, but I'm going to pull up my socks and I'm going to try my level best. I'm very, very sorry. That is all I can say. Yeah.
But anyways, other than that, thank you guys for making it. Yeah, we will see you physically in case you require any support within the next few weeks. We will be running classes for cohort 2, which was onboarded, I think, a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, we look forward to having you and connecting with you then. Bye-bye.
Bye.